What is going on, everyone? My name is Jason, and this is the Apple Magic Keyboard. What is going on, everyone? Jason here, and today we're talking about an accessory made by Apple that you're likely very interested in, but you may not have pulled the trigger on because it's quite expensive. Now that sounds like virtually every accessory Apple has ever made, but here we're focusing in on this guy, the Apple Magic Keyboard for the iPad. On the surface, this could come off as just a keyboard for an already expensive device, and considering that the price tags on these guys make up a considerable percentage of the iPad's price tag, I don't blame you if you've had reservations. Especially because if you do a basic Amazon search, there's a ton of different alternatives to choose from that are considerably cheaper. And even though I recognize that no doubt these are really expensive and potential overkill depending on the type of user you are, this is one of those times where I could confidently say that it's worth it. Let me tell you why. Now before we get into the review, in case you're new here, I'm Jason. I would really appreciate it if you give this video a thumbs up. It really does help me out. And in case you're a tech junkie like me, don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you can stay up to date with all the reviews. Okay, the first reason why the Apple Magic Keyboard is worth it is because of its build quality. One of the things that you'll notice right away about this keyboard is just how well designed and well put together this thing is. As soon as you take it out of the box, you'll take note of the heft as the case is quite heavy. The front and back cover are made out of two very firm plates covered in this grippy, soft touch material. Once you open it up, you really notice how strong the hinge mechanism is. Once you open it up a certain amount, it automatically locks into position, which is really nice. I know it doesn't sound like a big deal, but it's a great example of how much better this case is built in comparison to others, and you can for sure open and close this thing thousands of times before it ever starts to get a bit loose. The inside of the case here is made out of a soft microfiber, which is nice so it doesn't scratch up your iPad. And one of the main reasons why this case is so heavy is because this panel is lined up with multiple magnets for your tablet to connect with. You just line up the camera with the camera cutout, and the magnets quickly catch and lines everything into place. The magnets are very strong. You do not need to worry about your iPad slipping out of this thing, even when you're being kind of aggressive with it, but it's also really easy to pop the iPad off to take on the run if you don't need the case. The floating design not only looks beautiful, but the case itself provides really good tilt function to find the best angle. It really does feel like a laptop when attached. No other case comes close to the level of detail Apple has provided to give you that transformative feeling. On the bottom side of the case, you have the keyboard itself as well as a built-in trackpad, and again, it's really well put together. You get no flexing on the base plate despite it being relatively thin, and Apple equipped this keyboard with their popular scissor switches, making this by far the best typing experience when it comes to keyboard cases. You get a good amount of travel and feedback that makes typing on this thing almost addictive, and Apple did a really good job of spacing out the keys so it's extremely comfortable to type on. The keyboard is also backlit and has a pleasing fade in, fade out, very nice touch, and you get a decently sized trackpad. It has a nice tactile click when pressed, and can be activated at any space on the trackpad, even in the corners. And both panels are connected through a metal tube that comes equipped with a USB Type-C port that you could use to charge the iPad while in use. What I love about the design and the build is that it's one unified piece. There's no assembling or disassembling between the top and bottom, there's no cables you need to connect or anything annoying like that, and it's a premium feeling device through and through. Now one thing that you should take note of is that yes, while this will provide some level of protection against drops, this case is not designed with that as its first priority. Especially when it comes to the side of the iPads, you get no coverage whatsoever. Not long ago, my very energetic 3-year-old got a hold of my iPad Air and threw it on the ground. It had the case on it, but you can see that the corner here was not spared. But that aside, the craftsmanship that went into this keyboard case is very Apple. Outstanding quality and incredible attention to detail. And that leads me to the second reason why I feel as though the Apple Magic Keyboard is worth it, and that's its functionality. Now again, it's easy to think, dude, this is just a keyboard and trackpad, what's the big frickin' deal? But trust me when I say this, the Apple Magic Keyboard transforms the iPad into essentially a new device. Yes, that might sound dramatic, but hear me out for a second. First, the keyboard really does change the iPad from a primarily content consumption device into one that can legit take on a lot of creation. The ability to comfortably type on this tablet instantaneously converts it into an ideal device for writing email, taking notes for class, or putting scripts together for videos, which is my main use. And the reason for that has less to do with the amazing build quality I was talking about before, and way more to do with the ease of use. The Magic Keyboard connects to the iPad's built-in smart connector, and this does two things. First, it instantly makes the keyboard functional and ready to use the second it connects. There's no pairing or configuring needed ever, which is extremely convenient. And because it's a hard connection, there's no latency whatsoever when you type, and no need for the case itself to have battery as it gets powered by the iPad itself. Pair that with the superb ergonomic design, and you have a keyboard that's not only best in class, but by far the easiest and fastest to use. Being able to slap this on and immediately start typing sounds like it's not a big deal, but it makes for a significantly better user experience. And bottom line, you're more prone to actually leverage your iPad as a content creating device because it's so easy to use. And when you pair in the capability of the built-in trackpad, it only gets more transformative from there. The trackpad works incredibly well. Again, all you have to do is connect the iPad to the case, and it's immediately functional, no pairing or pressing buttons. It's ready to go the second you put it on. Now, if you've never used an external device like a mouse or a trackpad to navigate iPadOS, it could seem strange at first, but Apple did a really good job integrating the hardware with the software to provide users with a very smooth, simple user experience. Jumping between tabs in a browser, or getting the cursor to a specific spot on a Word document is made way easier with the trackpad, and the gesture support is fantastic. Two-finger scrolling is buttery smooth, swiping up with 3 fingers to exit out of apps is great, and swiping to jump between apps is extremely well executed and easy to do. Now you might argue that that's what trackpads are supposed to do. No big deal. And there are a ton of third-party keyboards that have trackpads built in that are way cheaper. Why shouldn't I go with one of those? Well, the main reason you shouldn't go that direction is because the trackpad on those cases is likely not going to provide anywhere near the user experience as the one the Apple Magic Keyboards does. Third-party manufacturers are not privy to the inner workings of iPadOS software, and most of the time you're going to end up with a trackpad that's super finicky, and it only gets worse with the gestures. It's not going to be something that you're going to want to use, and it'll most likely become something that you're annoyed with more than happy to have. Now yes, you could be saying to yourself, well, I don't need a keyboard and trackpad. I only use the iPad for watching movies, reading the news, and social media. And though I'd agree that you likely don't need the Apple Magic Keyboard, I can almost guarantee you that you'd be surprised at how much you'd actually like and use it if you got it. All good if you use your iPad for only those things, but it behooves you to know that you have a way more capable device in your hands. And to me, this accessory encourages you to milk the iPad for all it's worth. But hey, that's just me, and I want to get your thoughts. What do you guys think about the Apple Magic Keyboard? Do you think I'm nuts for recommending something so expensive? Or do you agree with me and think it's worth it? Curious to get your thoughts, let me know what you guys are thinking in the comments down below. Okay, that's about it for this review. Don't forget to leave me a thumbs up if you guys found it useful. Again, I'd really appreciate it. Check out these dedicated reviews on the iPad if you're looking for more, and I'll see you guys in the next one.